Tell us something about this issue.
Okay, so we are doing an offer for sale by existing shareholders for about 23% of the company in the price band of 54 to 56 rupees, and we should raise about 1,000 to 1,040 crores.
What are your future plans after the listing?
So currently we have 4,700 rooms, of which we own 3,200 and we are managing 1,500, and we have in the pipeline another 3,000 rooms. So our plans are to grow the company to 7,700 rooms by end of as of March 2021. Our plan is basically to focus on the mid-market hotel sector in India, which is a nascent sector, and to keep growing in that segment.
What is the USP of Lemon Tree?
You'll have to stay there, and so will your viewers, and then you can tell me.
Okay.
But the bottom line is we have very high occupancies and we have very high repeat customers. So I assume we're doing something right.
So going forward, what is your current occupancy rate?
So our occupancy is reasonably high, it's about 77%, and India occupancy last year was 65%. So in our case, our big challenge will be the new hotels that we open to obviously achieve the same levels of occupancy and of course over time to increase prices. Now, as it happens in India, prices, because of major oversupply in the last 10 years, prices in India have remained more or less flat. And the industry as a whole has suffered as a result of it, because obviously there has been inflation but no price hike. So going forward, we are hoping that if you read our RHP, there is a report, an industry report by HTL,
Okay.
which is a top global consultant, and they say that finally, after many years, after 6 or 7 or 8 years, supply in India is slowing down, whereas demand is continuing to be very healthy, because demand in India is now heavily driven by domestic consumers. And if this continues, in the next 4 years, supply is less than demand, then occupancies in India will keep going up and so will prices. So we are hoping that happens because the industry really needs to take the prices up.
So what is your revenue per room, and do we expect any raise in the rates of rooms?
So if you read our RHP, this year across the 9 months of April to December, our prices, our rate per room went up by about 9%. But really it was not over 9 months because we increased our prices in September and October. So you can work the maths back. I don't want to give a number which is not in the RHP. But for the 9 months, it showed a 9% hike. Our rate per room can be worked out simply by dividing our revenue by the number of operating rooms. It is in line with industry averages, and in some cases it is like in the mid-scale and economy space, we are about 30 to 40% over the industry average as per this report, this industry report.
So what would be your business model for coming years? Like, are you going to manage the rooms and hotels independently, or you want to tie up with some other companies for that?
No, we have our own brand, we have our own management team. So when we started Lemon Tree, there was hardly any mid-market hotels in India, and in that sense, we were a category creator. So in the beginning, we needed to build our own hotels and own our own hotels because we wanted to have product coherence. We wanted the product to look similar across cities. But today we have reached a size where we are the largest in the mid-market hotel space in India in terms of owned and leased rooms, and I think the third largest overall according to this report. So our plan now is going forward to go asset light and manage other owners' hotels and brand them with Lemon Tree as a brand. So we started a new company about 4 years ago called Carnation, which is our subsidiary, and it already has signed 37 hotels. So long term, our plan is very simple. We want to monetize our talent, our management team, and our brand, and not go anymore into the asset ownership side.
What is your opinion on hotel industry, and what are the challenges that this industry is facing?
See, in the past, the industry faced the challenge that in 2004, 5, and 6, the hotel industry in India went through a huge shortage of rooms. So prices were very high, and returns for anybody who owned a hotel then were enormous. So a whole lot of supply was planned in India between 2003, 4, 5, and 6. And all the supply came in between 2008 and 2015, most of it. As a result, every year in India, and if you read this report, it is evident there. While demand was growing at 10 to 14% a year, supply was growing at 15. So every year there were more rooms coming in than there was demand growth. As a result, prices went flat or even negative in some years. So it led to a big crisis in our industry. It also led to many hotels becoming really sick and needing support from the owners from external sources of funding. Obviously, this could not continue indefinitely. Going forward, very little new supply is planned. And whatever supply will come in the next 3 to 4 years will be on a very muted basis, and demand, I presume, will continue to grow at 12-15% as this report states. So I'm seeing good times ahead for the hotel industry. In terms of, so those were the problems of the past. The other big problem for the hotel industry is, I guess, or was, now it is being somewhat resolved, is that it's a very capital intensive business with a long gestation period, whereas in the past, loans were at high cost and were for short duration. Now that has started to change. I think where the industry really needs help is from the government and state government especially, because there is still a big issue in getting land and in getting approvals. So we are hoping that in the next 3 to 4 years, the government will proactively perhaps create single window clearances for hotel approvals and also make land available specifically for hotel use.
There's a boom in travel industry right now. Is this will also get, you will get benefit out of it?
Of course, because 86% of Lemon Tree's customers are Indian travelers. And the interesting thing we found is that a majority of these customers are young Indians below the age of 40 who are aspirational. They have increasing disposable income. And unlike their parents, who used to stay in unbranded guest houses or stay in with friends and family, this younger set of Indians, which is, I believe, 70% of India's population, is aspirational and is happy to stay in branded mid-market hotels as long as they offer value for money. So the real challenge, I guess, is to offer a value for money proposition and make profit out of it.